Today, we are diving into one of the most profound and frankly mind-altering texts out there, the Huayan Sutra. This isn't just a book that describes the universe. Oh no, it's a system designed to completely shatter our entire understanding of reality, starting with the very basics we take for granted. You know, we're all pretty used to the idea that the cosmos is just vast, right? We talk in light years, we think about billions of galaxies, and the numbers are just staggering. But what if that's the wrong way to look at it? What if the problem isn't how big the universe is, but the very tool we're using to measure it, the idea of numbers itself? This is the rabbit hole the Huayan Sutra throws us down. So our first stop is watching how this text takes our most fundamental concept, quantity, and just breaks it. It intentionally builds a system of numbers that is designed to fail just to show us how limited counting really is. And what's so wild is that the sutra throws this insane list of numbers at you, not because you're supposed to calculate them, but precisely because you can't. The whole point is to overwhelm your brain, to break that deep-seated habit we have of trying to measure and pin down everything we see. So it lays out this ladder of numbers that gets huge, fast. It starts big, sure, but then each new step is an exponential jump. You take the last number and you square it to get the next one. It just rockets past anything imaginable until the whole system just gives up and collapses at the final stage. Unspeakable, unspeakable. A number so big, the act of even trying to say it is pointless. So here's the crucial difference. The sutra isn't just saying the universe is too big to count. That's just a problem of scale, like needing a bigger calculator. No, it's saying the universe is inherently uncountable. It's a basic quality of reality. The problem isn't that our tool is too small. The problem is that we're trying to use a tool, counting, on something that can't be counted in the first place.
Okay, so our idea of numbers is officially broken. Now let's see how the sutra uses that same mind-bending logic on our understanding of physical space. And this is where things get really weird.
The central idea here is just wow. It's this. Inside a single, tiny, infinitesimal speck of dust, there are infinite worlds, infinite universes, all packed in there. Let's just walk through this for a second. Imagine you take an entire cosmos, what they call a Buddha field, and you grind it down into uncountable little specks of dust. Well, according to the sutra, if you could look inside any one of those specks, you'd find a whole new set of infinite cosmoses. And in the dust motes of those worlds, yep, it just keeps going. It's like a cosmic fractal, repeating into infinity.
And to really make sure you get that this isn't about physical size, the text gives us an even crazier image. It says you can put infinite worlds on the tip of one strand of hair, and the hair doesn't get bigger and the worlds don't get smaller. This is brilliant because it forces you to realize we are not talking about Russian nesting dolls here. This is something else entirely.
And all of this leads to a foundational idea in Huayan thought. Reality is a place of complete, total, non-obstructed interpenetration. The biggest things fit in the smallest things. The one is the many, and the many are the one. Everything is inside everything else, all at once. The conclusion you have to draw from all this is that space, as we think of it, is basically an illusion. It's not some empty box that we fill up with things. No, space is more like a manifestation, an emergent property that arises out of a much deeper, interconnected reality.
All right. We've deconstructed numbers, we've deconstructed space. You know what's next on the chopping block, right? Time.
The sutra is very clear. Time is not some universal clock that ticks the same for everyone everywhere. It gives this really stark example. One kalpa, that's an unimaginably long eon here in our world, is the same as just a single day in another realm, like the land of ultimate bliss. So, using our modern language, you could say time in this worldview isn't an absolute constant. It's more like a local system parameter. You know, it's a variable. It's a setting that can be different from one world to the next.
Now, you might be thinking, hey, this sounds a bit like Einstein's relativity, where gravity and speed can warp time. And you're on the right track. But this idea is actually even more radical. It's not just about things moving within a system that changes time. It's that the fundamental structure, the very code of a world itself, determines how time flows there.
So if numbers, space, and time aren't the real building blocks, then what is? Well, the sutra doesn't just tear everything down. It builds a whole new model in its place, a reality that's based on cognition and interconnection.
So the text starts listing all these enlightened beings, these bodhisattvas, and the specific places where they hang out. And at first glance, you might think, Okay, cool, it's a list of locations, but it's actually describing something way, way bigger. In this new model, you can think of each of these bodhisattvas and their homes as being like a cosmic server node in a huge distributed network. They're like these massive hubs of consciousness in a universe-spanning information system that is literally generating reality.
This model is suggesting something truly radical. The world we experience isn't just a bunch of inert stuff. It is the dynamic product of a vast cognitive system. Reality isn't just out there, it's an output that we perceive, shaped and generated by this cosmic network of mind.
So, we've systematically collapsed our most basic concepts of the world. What's the final insight? What's the big takeaway from all this cosmic deconstruction?
Well, let's just quickly recap the journey. We've seen how our tools of measurement completely fail. Numbers prove to be useless. Space is revealed to be just a manifestation. Time bends all over the place, and what we're left with is this incredible idea of reality as a vast, interconnected cognitive network.
And that brings us to the final powerful point. The whole purpose of this exercise isn't to help us measure a bigger universe. It's to help us let go of the need to measure and control it at all. The goal shifts from analyzing the parts to simply perceiving the whole.
And so this is the profound question the sutra leaves us with. What happens in our own minds and our own lives when we finally put down the measuring stick, when we release that need for control, and instead just start to see the infinite, interwoven reality that it describes? What new world might open up for us then?